Hello and welcome to the CX Files podcast. I'm your host, Mark Hillary. This week I'm speaking with Nuno Horta, who is the head of innovation at Grupo Ageas, based in Lisbon, Portugal. Now, although Nuno is based in Portugal, Ageas is actually a company based in Belgium and is the largest insurance company there, although they do operate across 14 different countries. I spoke with Nuno about how insurance is changing and how insurance companies can improve the customer experience through the use of emerging technologies and even just redefining their role in the life of the customer. Okay, so let's go straight to the interview. Okay, Nuno. So could you just introduce a few of the areas where right now you're seeing innovation in your own business? And what does that mean? Because, you know, in insurance, there's a very important interface between the customer and the insurance company. So how does innovation really affect that?
So don't forget that insurance as a whole, it's so many areas, especially for us here. We're present in all lines of business. We have a direct brand, we have a healthcare brand, we do property and casual, we do life. So, and as you know, in banking and insurance, it's typically areas where there's a lot of innovation happening, even though people don't give credit for it. So what we did here, and now things are growing so exponentially with startups bringing new technology, with AI, with blockchain. It's like every week there's something new to do. Also in healthcare, healthcare itself is a world of innovations now with CRISPR and with telemedicine. So what we did here in order to streamline it, in order to have all these technologies ready for testing and to interact with customers to see what they actually like, was we created a process which is transversal to the company, with a bunch of innovation programs, which will allow us from A, build from the ground up something that we want, or B, bring in new companies and new startups with new technologies so we can quickly create a prototype, an MVP, and then rapidly test them with customers to see what they want actually to have in their day-to-day life while interacting with insurances or not. But I would say that most areas everything that's AI is now really all over the place, RPAs, robotics, all of that. And in the medical field, the healthcare field, it's so much stuff, especially now in the prevention and the wellness, from genetic testing to telemedicine. There's a lot of things going on. Really excited.
Okay, that's great. I mean, there's so much there then. So I think if we focus on a couple of the processes, because with insurance, customers traditionally they really interact with the company either when they're asking for a quote or when they're trying to make a claim. And I've seen that there's companies out there like Lemonade that are using artificial intelligence to automatically decide if a claim is valid. So they don't even need to go through human processing. So is this kind of thing, this kind of use of AI, is this the kind of thing we can expect to see more from insurance generally?
Well, what I've seen is that you have AI for everything, and we ourselves are trying to integrate AI we already have robotics in our value stream, and we're trying to integrate AI as quickly as possible, not only in customer interfacing, but also in claims management and in quotes, because really you can really speed up the claim. But we mentioned Lemonade. What I think they did so well, and what insurance big incumbents need to watch out, is they made it look seamless. They made the bot look cool. You kind of think you're talking to a person, although you're not. It has to be well put. It has to be well marketed. It has to make sense. You can't just put AI just because it's the flavor of the month. It has to make sense in your value stream, and it has to make sense in the way you're approaching the customer, and it has to make sense in the type of insurance you're selling. So yeah, we're integrating that, but we have to integrate it with care, and we have to integrate it in a way that's seamless for the customer.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And I mean, we mentioned that problem of the only time that you ever really interact is either when the customer's asking you the price or they're trying to make a claim. So how do you change that relationship, and how do you get the customer more engaged with the company?
You really have to start adding value. You have to be more present, but not being intrusive. So it's kind of a delicate balance, because if, for example, if Google interacts with you and asks you to, let's say, update their new terms and services, you're going to do it with a smile on your face. If you're an insurance company and you even contact just to update something, people aren't as positively responsive when we're interacting with an insurance company. So what we need to do is start to add value to the customer. I'll give you an example for healthcare. We're really pushing forward and investing in our wellness strategy and our well-being strategy, so that the customer knows that he has. It's not just going to the hospital when I'm sick. It's how can I prevent myself from getting sick? How can I live a better life? How can I not miss out on things? How can I be more healthy, be more present for my family? And in this case, we're developing a whole ecosystem for customers to use, which is based on the insurance company, and that will help us add value. Also, another thing is we have such a great network of partners that people who work with us, let's say body shops, petrol companies, like I can repair people. So why not open the doors of our connections, of our partners to our customers, and it's a win-win situation, and they'll get a cheaper price on things they need to do on their everyday life, and we'll be able to set it up for them. So adding value. They see that by being a customer of Ageas, it opens doors to a lot of new avenues. Mm-hmm. So I guess that's the key.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, and I mean, you've talked a little bit about chatbots there, and the importance of trying to give this kind of continuity. So even if you're speaking to a bot, it feels like a person. And I suppose this is one of the biggest problems, because it's very easy to solve simple problems using a bot, but when it gets a bit too complex, sometimes it's very hard to transfer to a human. So how do you manage that sort of interface between the digital and human then?
So what we did here in Ageas is we developed an approach which will go from simple to complex. What I think is a simple process is a sales process. In this case, you can pretty much almost automate it, because you're going to ask some data or some personal information to give a quote, and you're going to do the sell, and that can be automated. As you're moving up the risk level, so let's say the next bot we're going to launch is an internal processing bot, which will help our agents and our brokers, both in our bank assurance model and our A and B model, to quickly have access to a stream of data that they're going while they're interacting with the customer. And this is a bit more tricky, so you're going to have some human interaction. When you're going to have straight up customer service with a bot, the way we plan it is we always need to have a live agent, and we're integrating our bot framework on top of our call center software, so that bots aren't always left alone, because they're going to be complex questions, and you're always going to need that human feel, so that the person's not waiting 20 minutes for a bot to answer, or hearing something like, I can't answer it right now, I'll get back to you. So you're going to always have some human supervision, even if it's not human driven. It's going to always, in my opinion, it's going to always have to have a little human supervision, and the human supervision will also feed the knowledge of the bot. So let's say, for example, you're complaining, you have a customer service bot, and the customer asks a very complex question. So in this case, the human will interact, but will also tell the bot, classify that answer that he gave as a correct answer, and the bot will learn. So the next time the person asks a similar question, the bot will have the knowledge learned of that question as a correct one. Mm-hmm. So in my case, at least in these next years, I think human interaction will always be necessary, even if it's just to keep it safe. Because the reputational risk of you having a bot answer something incorrect or not knowing what to answer, I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah, so if the bot actually answers and it seems like it's actually a stupid answer, then you'll end up getting people sending screenshots around and saying, hey, look what this company said to me.
And it's not a good experience. It's not usually when you contact your insurance company, it's never a good experience. So you have to keep it as painless as possible.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's great. So, I mean, finally then, you're running innovation. What should we be looking out for in insurance in the coming year then? What are the sort of areas where you think it's changing?
Well, I'm super excited for healthcare. I'm really super excited for healthcare. The whole telemedicine ecosystem, it's something that's really got me excited. Because let's say, for example, flu season, when you go to, be it a private hospital or a public hospital, when it's flu season, you're usually 2-3 hours waiting to be assisted for a doctor. So the fact that telemedicine is now starting to become available to us, even like, for example, in the NHS, where you have Babylon, which is the chatbot, now closing the arc of our previous question, Babylon, which is that chatbot which is available, which will help people diagnose themselves. Should they go to the emergency room? Should they stay home? Should they just take a paracetamol? The fact that you may have a consultation with an actual physician without ever leaving your house and having the proper diagnostic algorithms to help you better assess the severity of an illness, I think it's amazing. I think this is something where we're really looking into and something we really want to be present as a player here in Portugal.
Mm-hmm. Is that like integrating with the national health systems? I mean, the insurance companies working with them then?
No, I don't think so. In our case, we want to have our own systems so that our customers can come to us and have a consultation, be it with a bot, be it with an actual physician, be it with a nurse, pediatrician, and have everything set up from the insurance company, and then even the insurance company will help them follow up and set them up with appointments at hospitals. So saving time and guaranteeing a great experience when you're sick.
Thanks for listening to the CX Files podcast. Please take a moment to review the podcast because this helps other listeners to find it. And if you have any suggestions, then get in touch with me on Twitter or LinkedIn. I'm at Mark Hillary with 2 L's, or just search Google for Mark Hillary.